forced to take possession of your ship.
My ship!
We can't shoot our way out. We can't just sit here.
Oh, what if they don't get out of the way?
Then there's one hell of a crockery bill. Any other questions?
When HMS Hero is held for ransom in an international crisis, Nialls must decide whether to attempt a daring escape. In tonight's episode, a standing and jumping war. While HMS Hero is berthed at the port of Hafsidi Busidi in the Republic of Hafsidia, Commander Nialls pays a courtesy call on the British consul, Mr. Bennett, who has arranged a shipment of new lubricating oil for the ship. Over after-dinner coffee, Nialls is introduced to Philip Tashing, an expat who tells Nialls he's been hearing rumblings that Hero may not be a welcome visitor.
There's nothing wrong with our diplomatic clearance, is there?
Not a thing.
Then what could possibly go wrong?
Nothing that's surfaced yet. It's a resentment against you chaps. Nothing more than a feeling, really. I've heard nothing. Are you sure? Well, I may be wrong, but I bet I'm not.
The next morning, Beaumont informs Nialls that overnight, 22 of the ship's company who went ashore have disappeared. A local military officer informs them that the men were arrested for a drunken brawl. Upon visiting Bennett, Nialls learns that the Hafsidian government has revoked Hero's diplomatic clearance, effectively holding the ship hostage, over a rumor that the British are secretly building a frigate for the Israeli Navy, threatening the balance of power in the region.
While they clear up their paper war, we sit. What if I just clear out?
And leave 22 of your men ashore? There's another thing. No oil. As from midnight, an embargo has been clapped on any order from the Naval Chandler.
And we drained the engines last night.
Nialls is summoned to a meeting with the Hafsidian Interior Minister, who threatens to board and seize the ship by 8:30 the next morning if they don't receive a satisfactory answer from Whitehall. And for good measure, the harbor entrance will be mined and covered with artillery and a gunboat, with 2 frigates, presumably Soviet, due to arrive in the morning.
You know we could blow your gunboat out of the water if we chose.
For God's sake, Nialls, try and control us.
Now that would be an act of war.
While Nialls awaits news from London at the consul's residence, Tashing pays him a clandestine visit to inform him that 400 gallons of lubricating oil will be waiting for them at the far side of the harbor, and instructs Nialls how to deliver a hefty bribe to free his trapped men. And so Nialls launches an elaborate plan. Lieutenant Perry organizes his swimmers to float the barrels over to the ship under cover of darkness, while Lieutenant Last delivers the bribe and loads the freed crewmen into a van. Meanwhile, the divers, who are having a busy night, also sabotage the shore guns and disable most of the mines at the harbor entrance. As a final trick, rat shields are installed on the mooring lines with explosive charges to ensure a quick getaway. The next morning, as the clock runs down, the 22 crewmen sneak on board in disguise, and Nialls gives the order for Hero to fire up the engines and head out of the harbor. The ship safely clears the mines as it picks up speed, and wins a game of chicken with the gunboat waiting for them at the harbor entrance. With the Russian frigates too far away to catch her, Hero makes good her escape. However, the celebration is short-lived. Beaumont reveals that, while helping the liberated crewmen get below decks, poor Lieutenant Perry took a bullet to the back.
Where is Perry? On the flight deck, sir.
You have the ship number 1?
I have a ship, sir. Yeoman, make the Mod Navy, information, CNC Fleet, flag off to Gibraltar and HMS Phoebe. Cleared harbour, Hafsidi Busidi 0809.
How is it, Fuller?
Up until this episode, I had enjoyed watching Warship, but a standing and jumping war turned me into a full-bore fan. It really is a cracking good story, with the ticking clock element propelling the characters into action and giving a unity and coherence to the plot. There are no secondary stories this time. Everyone's attention is focused on a single objective, getting Hero and her entire crew safely out of the harbor before the Hafsidians can board her. That being said, the lack of space for a B-plot does have one minor drawback in my opinion. Namely, it shoves Lieutenant Perry's character arc into the background, making its unhappy resolution less narratively satisfying, and I would argue less impactful, than I think it should have been. Taft plays important roles in 3 episodes. He is introduced in The Prize as the ship's clearance diver who is secretly afraid of explosives. His panic nearly gets himself and several other officers killed. At the end of the episode, not even his closest friend Beaumont can bear to speak to him. However, in the next episode, Subsmash, not only is Perry back on duty as a watch officer, but he leads a team of divers on an extremely hazardous mission to bolt a plate to the hull of the sunken submarine to allow it to surface. Apparently, he hasn't been permanently ostracized by his shipmates, and Nialls trusts him with the vital rescue task, seemingly without hesitation. Whatever happened between those 2 episodes to put him back in everyone's good graces must have been pretty significant, but it's never shown or mentioned in expositional dialogue. Finally, in A Standing and Jumping War, we see Perry go full commando, smuggling oil drums across the harbor, defusing mines strung across the harbor entrance, and even spiking Hafsidian artillery right under the guards' noses. And he's even chummy with Beaumont once again.
I saw you in a post about in the pub, isn't it? Hey, there I was. It was midnight in the sleepy harbour.
Who do you think you are? Lawrence of Arabia? Come on, we got work to do.
Which makes it all the more poignant that Beaumont is the one to deliver the bad news to Nialls at episode's end. In the minus column, however, Perry's weapon skills are definitely questionable. When he takes the Hafsidian officer's firearm, it sure looks like he chambers around before removing the clip and returning the weapon.
Silly business.
So, what does the title mean? To me, it sounds like it should be a line in a Kipling poem. Alas, after much fruitless searching, I was unable to find anything. Perhaps somewhere out there is the answer, but for now at least, the title's origins remain shrouded in mystery. South African-born screenwriter John Wiles is perhaps most famous, or infamous, for being the second producer of Doctor Who. He succeeded founding producer Verity Lambert in 1965, but stayed with the show only for a year before departing in frustration after clashing with the show's star and the BBC over the direction of the series. Wiles would go on to write 2 more Warship episodes, The Man from the Sea in the 2nd season, and Robertson Crusoe in the 4th. In a blink or you'll miss it moment, in the scene where Hero is charging through the breakwaters of Portland Harbor in Dorset, Hafsidi Busidi in North Africa, on one of the concrete pillars in the foreground, you can just make out the name HMS Hero carved into its face. Oh, and thanks to Consul Bennett, I think I may change the name of this review series.
Apparently our trade mission in Haifa was approached for a new frigate.
And cut. Perfect. Print it. Let's move on.
In the next episode, hijinks ensue when Nialls gets drunk and makes a bet with a fellow captain over whose ship can get back to England first. That's next time on Did Somebody Say Frigate?